Good morning. This morning I am with Emma Paxton, whose company is called Imagistic.
That's right.
Yeah. And you're a graphic recorder. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me a
Yes.
little bit about what you do as a graphic recorder?
Yeah. Hi, Jill. I would love to. So, a graphic recorder is a live illustrator, basically. And back in the day when we had live events, I would go along with my big drawing board and basically capture what people were saying, the key outcomes and ideas that shared at the event on a really big bit of paper in a friendly, fun, visual way that people would then take away to remind them of the event. And the idea is that it also helps them remember what they're seeing. So they see it being drawn, they're hearing it, it helps them remember better. And then when they go away and look at the picture after the event, they're taken straight back to that moment when they saw it being drawn. So that's what I do. And alongside that, I also do some digital illustration as well.
Right. I suppose at a conference, I've been to many conferences and you can sit there for hours and it gets a little bit boring.
Yeah.
I suppose by having that, it's a good reminder. It's a good,
Yes.
yeah,
and I think people don't really realise that they're how easy it is to drift off and start writing your shopping list or, your to-do list or stabbing a pencil in your hand to keep yourself awake. And by having the drawing there, so people are watching that, they don't realise they think they watch it to say, I wonder what she's going to capture. So it makes them listen harder to what's being said because they're wondering how I'm going to interpret it and how I'm going to capture it. So without them even realising, they're listening better and they're listening harder, and then they're going to remember it because it's being reinforced on the board as well.
Wow. So what do they do with the pictures after? Do the companies use them for other things?
Yeah, so they can keep the picture. So the big picture gets scanned, so they get a digital version of it, which they then share and do all sorts of things. One company I did something for, I don't know, nearly 4 years ago now. They've still got the drawing on their walls in their offices. They're still using it. I did a job for the National Trust and they've got it framed, the actual picture framed in their head office. I did some work from Bernardo's, and after that we've created banner stands with pictures of, all the drawings are on the banner stands and they've been used in there. We've created posters, hundreds and hundreds of posters which have gone out. I think they've gone out to all of the shops, all the Bernardo shops, everywhere, because it's all about how they're going to become a more trauma-informed organisation. So the pictures that we drew at the event become sort of key to the project because that was the launch project. So lots of people do all sorts of different things with them, but it's really nice when you get to hear where it's gone, because I'll draw a picture and then you never hear anything afterwards, but nice to hear and know how they're being used, because then you can talk to other people about it.
So with lockdown, did your business take a bit of a dive? I know mine did.
Yes, I think everyone's did, but yeah, obviously with the live events disappearing, I just gradually watched my notice board, my calendar just lines through everything, and it was a bit worrying. I do remote graphic recording, so I will draw on my iPad, and which can be linked into a Zoom call, or so instead of everyone, when you get everyone's little heads at the bottom of the screen, you can have my iPad and I'm drawing live, so I'm doing the same sort of thing as I do. I haven't done an awful lot of that, to be fair, but I have my illustration work has increased since lockdown started. I think partly because people have had more time to think about things. So I've done a couple of vision pictures for companies, and they've done it because they had time, they had downtime to think about that kind of side of their business. So I've drawn those for them because they just had time to think about it, which has been lovely. I love doing vision pictures.
I saw one in our local free magazine that you did.
Yeah, so that was a little poster I drew off the back of our networking group, Free Range Women, that you and I both go to. And we were talking about ways that we were keeping ourselves going during lockdown. What were we doing? It was back at the beginning in the early days, and people were thinking, what am I going to do with myself? And so I just captured whatever people were saying, and I said, I'll turn this into a poster and share it. And I did, and it kind of went all around the world. I put it onto Twitter and it went a bit bonkers, and it's my first, I put it viral, and I put it on Facebook as well, and it's been shared I don't know, thousands of times, and I've had the most brilliant messages from people all around the world. And I did a Welsh version and an Irish version, and I've had so many lovely messages from NHS workers who have said they've printed it and put it on the wall in the A&E wobble rooms, and a little schools have loved it. So where the schools are, obviously the kids are at home, they've sent it out to their pupils. One school did a postcard, they printed it as a postcard and sent it out to all of their home addresses, to all the children at their home addresses, which I
So
thought
what was on the picture that you did? What was on it?
it was oh yeah, it's here. That
won't be forever.
Yeah, it's all things that people
Wow.
could do to sort of keep their mind busy and looking after your mental health, things busy, but also I think it just sort of summarised the feeling at the time, because it was when the clapping for the carers had started and people were putting the rainbows in the windows, and it was just sort of at the right time when when that's
We're all
also
feeling a little bit weird then. Well, I still feel a little bit weird now, but when it first happened, I think we were all in shock, weren't we, that
absolutely
this had happened. And you know, I remember thinking, God, nothing like this ever happened in my lifetime. And for us all to be told to stay indoors, and you know, it was very scary. And I can see why people would relate to that.
It just went really nice. But and the lovely thing off the back of that is that it brought in some more work, so it kept me busy doing more illustration work as well. So I've had some new clients come out of that, and I did a little drawing for a lady who wrote a really lovely book, which I will tell you about.
I love it that you're getting up around your office and getting things down.
This is a really lovely book called How to Age Joyfully.
Oh wow.
And a lady, Maggie, she got in touch with me and asked me to do a summary of her book. And I decided one to do. But anyway, so I did a little visual summary of that, and I thought she's got 8 key things that she says about how to age. But I don't know, that's like, you think that's, but well, you know, I'm not so young anymore, so I thought it was rather useful, and I really liked it. It's got some really good tips in it. So I've done that, and I've done a couple of vision pictures for companies, and it's super.
Have you always been able to draw? You know, when you were a kid, were you a drawer then?
I have always liked drawing, and to be fair, my people look exactly the same as they did when I was about 11. My drawing hasn't really changed. I had a big gap when I didn't draw for years and years and years, so I still can't.
What was your background before this?
I was an events organizer.
Oh, were you?
Yes. So I used to work for an organisation called Business Link, which was business support. That's how I met Jackie, working for Business Link, and I organised all the events. So I did it for 20 years, and I was the events manager there, and we organised hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business events every year. So that was kind of like where I got my business background, I guess. And
it seems also, a bit of a jump going from one to the other. How did that come about?
How did they come about? Well, whilst I was working for Business Link, I also did a bit of facilitation. So I had these big boards, and I used to get people to write on big sticky post-it notes and stick them on boards. And I still do that now as part of my work. And when I was made redundant, which was 10 years ago this year, I thought, I knew I didn't want to get a job. My husband's self-employed, and I wanted his life, and he stayed in bed till 10 o'clock in the morning, and he would sort of go out to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, I want that. I was working God knows how many hours a week. I was determined that I wasn't going to go and get a job, and I wanted us to be able to have a more free life so we could travel and do what we wanted to do. And so it was, how was I going to do it? So I first of all thought, well, I'll do events, and I was like, very quickly realised I did not want to do events any longer as an organiser. And I thought, well, what else can I do? You know, and you think, well, what can I do? I can facilitate. So I knew I had all my kit still, which, because the company was basically dissolved, I rescued all my pinballs off the skip, and I still had all that kit. And so I thought, well, I can do that. And I'd got a couple of lovely jobs working with the same organisation who were continuing in a different way. and was able to use some of my facilitation skills. And I was learning different things. I thought, well, I need more facilitation tools, you know, how to manage meetings. And I discovered graphic facilitation, and graphic facilitation is kind of what I do, but more where you lead people through a template and you're drawing whilst you're facilitating. But graphic recording is an offshoot of that. And I discovered it and I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. And I basically just taught myself, because back then there weren't really any training. There was a couple of books you could buy. So I bought the books, read the books, and just basically started doing it. But originally I was a secretary, and I was taught to audio type and to do shorthand. So I think that helped me kind of with that keeping stuff in my head and listening. And then when I was working in events, I would listen to speakers. So we were auditioning speakers, and we were making sure that the speakers are really good, and we were we were listening for the key things that they were saying in their speeches. So I always used to make sure that they were crammed full of really good content. So I did all that listening, and I just think that those things have all come together in a nice way to be able to do what I do now.
Is it hard for you when a speaker is speaking quickly?
Not really, no, because they're, even when they're speaking quickly, they're only going to give you a couple of nuggets. They're not going to give you, they're not going to be speaking, I mean, yeah, if they're speaking really, really fast and it's really technical, then yeah, it is difficult. But I must say, I've not really had that situation, but I can imagine it would be a bit difficult. But generally people talk around the subject for a while, and you get the chance to pick out what they're saying.
Yeah, well, I've seen your work. In fact, you've drawn me when I did my very first talk. I've never actually spoken in front of anyone before, and I was pleased you were there actually, because it was a friendly face that I actually knew, and you drew the fish and chips. So
your dad's ice cream van. Was it ice cream van?
Yeah, dad's ice cream vans. Yeah, definitely.
So I remember everything I draw as well. So that's the other good thing about it, or bad thing about it, is I can remember it all. Yeah. So drawing is a really good way to help you remember. So if I draw my shopping list, I'll remember, and I forget to take it with me. When I get to the shop, I can remember it by what did I draw. So I think back and think of the pictures that go the pea and the jar of mayonnaise.
Dyslexic, so being dyslexic, you're very visual. And I think that's why I'm drawn to, I love your work. I love what you do, because I understand it. I can look at it and understand the subject. So do you teach? Do you do any classes? Can people learn?
I have dabbled. I did last year. I ran one workshop on how to do sketchnoting, which was kind of like a personal visual note taking, basically. So how to make your own visual notes. And I have great plans. I had great plans to do more last year, and then didn't have time to do it. But I do plan to do more once we are free of lockdown. Really, once things return to normal, I'll try and do some more of those.
Yeah. So what are your plans? Have you got any sort of? You sort of covered it a little bit there with plans for the future. Everyone's saying, "Oh, new normal, new normal."
Yeah.
But I don't know what the new normal's going to be.
We don't, and I don't know how long it will be before we get back to live events. Although I was contacted last week and asked to go and draw this week at an event for the NHS, and I said no, thank you, but no, thank you to that one.
I like the idea when you said earlier that you draw on the iPad. So,
yes.
So you could have, I suppose, where we do the Teams meetings or the Zoom meetings, you could still draw the meetings.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that lately. Yeah, I've done a bit of that recently for a few different people. And yeah, it's exactly the same. I just sit here as a participant, and instead of my head in that little box in the corner, you see the iPad screen.
Right.
So people can watch it if they want to, whilst the meeting's going, or then I'll screen share at regular times through the meeting. So people can see it.
What type of customers have you had then? Who pays? Are they all big clients or?
I haven't done a huge amount of online graphic recording, I have to say.
I mean in general. I don't mean sort of in general.
My clients, For graphic recording, they can be all sorts of people really. So I've done work with charities, I've done some work with Community First. They can be individuals. So I've drawn for a couple of coaches who have held big events where they got all of their clients together. I've worked for, like I was mentioning Bernardo's earlier, a construction company. I do work for the LEP, so I've done a bit of work down in West Sussex for the Coast Capital LEP down there.
Right. So you really had done loads.
All sorts of people, yeah. I've done a bit of work for the NHS before.
Yeah. I suppose your scope is quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, Bournemouth University, Southampton University, Portsmouth University. I've done work for.
So let me ask you the big question. Can you now get up at 10 o'clock? And are you able to go out in your camper van and have fun?
Yeah, even more so now that I'm not doing any live drawing, because that was the thing that sort of stopped you doing it. But illustration, digital illustration, I could do that from anywhere, and I have. So last year we had quite a lot of holidays last year, and I was really busy. So inevitably I ended up taking my iPad and working wherever we were. So I do quite a lot. But I find it really creative just to be in a different space, to be out of home, to be somewhere else. I find that really creative, and I'm very happy sitting in my deck chair outside my camper van drawing for a few hours a day. It's just a lovely way to be.
Yeah. So they highly recommend self-employment then?
Well, it's not for everyone, is it? I mean, you started your business.
Well, I'm a year into mine now, and I was just getting going, and then this happened.
Yeah.
And now I'm not sure where I'm going after this. So that's why I started doing these, because I found it was a way of keeping me entertained, because I was getting very bored, and putting myself out there a little bit too. So, but yeah, look, lockdown. I mean, self-employment is challenging. It is. It's great fun, but it can also be a bit miserable sometimes.
When you start, the highs and the lows are incredible, because you're up there 1 second and down there the next second, and literally it's a roller coaster, and you have to learn to take the rejections, and it's not a personal.
No.
Because 1 minute you'll win a job and the next minute you'll lose a job, and I used to get so upset when I lost a job, and I'm cool with that now. I just get it. And I agree with you about that. I know exactly what you mean about you just feel like it's all come together. I just got to the point where, I'd do a graphic recording job and I'd get another one on the back of it. Someone would see me there and they would take me onto another event, and it was just all rolling. It was just starting to and I was super busy. And although I had said it'd be really nice to have a break this year, I wasn't expecting it to be quite such a dramatic break as what we've had. But I was just into that place, and I must admit I do wonder whether to go back to the live drawing work again, or whether just to stick with the digital illustration. But I've got a big bag of pens down there that need to get out, and they're jiggling around and they're going, let me out, we want to go drawing. So
that's really given us all time to sit back and think about. It's given me time to sit and reflect about what I was doing, and because you get going, don't you, and then you're too far into it to actually stop and regroup. But this has been quite a good regroup, isn't it?
Yeah, and lots of people have said that. Lots of people have said, it's a chance to say, what do you want to continue doing? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to do more of? It's all very well as all sitting at home going, yes, I think what I'm going to do is this and this, but then the phone either rings or it doesn't, and then you
and when it rings, depending, it can be a strange job, and you think, well, it's not really where I was going, but actually I need the
work. And then you say yes and work out how you can do it afterwards.
Yes, exactly.
And that's plenty of time. Yes, I can do that.
So would you say people coming into this, how do they call them, if you're not a student, but if you
want to be a graphic recorder? Well, there are more people running programs now. There are some online programs that you can do. There's one lady who does it here in the UK, Cara Holland. She runs courses here in the UK. another lady in Wales, Fran, she does occasionally.
Yeah.
There's a lot that comes from America. There's an institute of visual practitioners, and they put on training. And there's quite a lot of individuals. And if people do want to know more about it, there's a really good Facebook group called Graphic Facilitation.
Right.
It's huge now, and it's massive, and it's worldwide, but a lot of stuff goes on there about the training and how to learn and get into it. And there's a lot of books now. A lot of people.
For me personally, I'd like to learn how to do it for my own note keeping, for my own.
Yeah. Okay, so you need to have a look for yourself. And this is.
And she is off again in her office. God.
Okay. So this is my next book, and this is what I do when I do my little training courses, all about sketchnoting. So sketch notes are really is a term coined by Mike Rodey, who's a lovely chap. Excuse me. And he's just basically. So his thing is to teach you how to make sketch notes, things that look like that. And it's sort of got a bit of a crossover, I think, with bullet journaling now, although I don't really know what bullet journaling is. But it's basically a way to, make your own visual notes. And so that's what I do training in. But if you're interested in that, it's a sketchnote handbook. And you can just use the hashtag sketchnote, and there'll be gazillions of them that you can see what other people do.
Yeah. But you've got your own website, haven't you?
Yes.
Imagistic.co.uk? No?
That's it, yeah. Imagistic.co.uk. Imagistic. And when I discovered that word, I thought it was really brilliant, but no one can ever say it or spell it, so maybe it wasn't so great. But it's from it's poetry. So there's a form of poetry called Imaginism. Anyway, so even I can't say it, which is all around very rich description using a few words. And I just thought that kind of fitted with my work, which is all about creating visuals with just a few words that tell the story. So that's how I chose the word Imagistic.
I had a look earlier, and you've got some great downloadable free downloadable bits on there, which is great.
Yeah, totally free. I don't need your email address, although I do wonder if that was a bit of a mistake. Never mind. Anyway, so
you can always change it.
Give it to the world. There's a set. I put a set of free planners on there every year, which I update every year, and there's a weekly planner, a year planner, a weekly planner, and a monthly planner, and they're all free for anyone to download. And I've been putting some stuff up for lockdown as well. So that poster we looked at just now is on there, and along with a few other things that I've drawn around the sort of lockdown theme. There's one about being kind to yourself, and my Zoom cards. So I made some Zoom cards which I put on there, which people run back. So things like
do you know, I saw those on there and I couldn't work out quite
what they were. It was just a bit of fun, really. I was just playing around, really. I was just playing around, so you can some people really like them. So we're using your Zoom cards, they're brilliant.
Well, I've just downloaded your weekly planner, actually. I've just looked at that and thought, I'm going to have that. I'm going to use that.
Good.
Very useful, very good. So well, it's been lovely chatting to you.
And you too.
Hopefully we'll meet in real life again soon.
Yes, we must reach in real life soon, even on our bicycles on the cycle path.
Oh yes, I've now got a cycle helmet, so I'm more safe.
Did you fall off then?
I'm not very good on my bike, let's say that. So, you were lucky when you saw me that I was sort of upright and cycling.
I'll definitely wear your hat then.
Yeah. Anyway, Emma, nice chatting to you. Speak soon.
Yeah, speak to you soon. Thanks ever so much.